Hey everyone. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Song Resolve. I'm your host D.
And co-host R'gos Rho. Today is my turn to pick.
Uh-huh.
I chose Mutemath, Break the Same. And without further ado, let's just jump right into it. We're going in mute in three, two. It might not seem like it. You do. This came out in 2006. They also did the premiere soundtrack for Transformers, which is this track here. Um, since I usually go first with my breakdowns, it's your turn.
I mean, you can go first.
Oh, okay. Is it too impactful? Was it too dark? Too what was it? Was it?
It's definitely not my vibe for this moment, but I
Mm-hmm.
am going to rock with it because obviously we're
I mean,
rocking with it.
we're in it. It can be put in the queue later
Yeah,
on.
but I guess my take on it is it's a little sad. So it's a dark song. But it's true, I guess. No matter what's going on, no matter what pain we face in our lives, I guess technically we do all break the same. We all break down at one point or another. There's going to be something or several things in your life that is going to break you down. So, just keep that in mind, especially when you're out in the world dealing with different people. You don't know what they're going through. They could just be literally like
On the edge.
on the edge, and it literally just takes one thing and they will literally.
You waving hi to them could stop them from doing something catastrophic.
Yeah, yeah. So, just never underestimate the impact of how you and your actions are towards others can affect other people because, again, we all break the same.
Indeed. Thank you for that. And I know it is a bit of a down tempo, if you will,
Mm-hmm.
alt rock, or prog rock, based upon the year since this was 2006, so it might have been prog rock. But yeah, it's true. I mean, if you really think about it, pain is universal. Everyone can experience pain, whether it's physical, spiritual, mental, or other. Um, the fact of the matter is, the core of it is pain, and it's a reminder that even if you don't walk in someone else's shoes, your shoes are being filled by your experiences, by your trauma, by your tragedies, by your past transgressions and progressions. Um, I actually, I'm gonna share something a little personal here. I was told by a very, very rich man, and I kid you not, this motherfucker had a mansion up in the hills of Riverside and Rancho Cucamonga, and he said it plain as day, that you can't get pretty far without stepping on someone. And it's like, don't you know that's the same thing that's happened to you? Then the ones that are richer than you, it just resonated with me quite well. Um,
Why is that?
because it's like, here it is. I'm in this mansion. You have this huge boat. You have this great overlook of the city and the raceway, and you can actually see them racing from time to time. You created this enterprise, and yet you know what it costs to get there, but yet you still do it. And yet here you are, damn near crippled. This is I'm not trying to dox the man, but here you are, damn near crippled. You've been injured, and you know pain, but yet you've caused pain from someone else, and yet now you're here. It just makes me think. It was, we all do break the same. It's just when, when. So it's a bit of a moody episode. I'm glad she's picking the next one. It's gonna be a little more joyous, I'm sure, a little more lighthearted.
Yeah.
I am the complete opposite of the dichotomy, if you will. It's just like, hey, I am on the other side of the spectrum. It's like you start off the first song with "Good Luck." It was like a breakup song. But I was like, no, it's taking back power. And then we have a more liberating song for one of the other episodes, and then we get into this one. It's like, bruh, it's like, what are we doing? But I'll yield the rest of my time. If this is your platform, I'm a guest here, so I'll yield the rest of my commentary.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um. Well, like I said previously, this is not a genre that I venture into a lot, and it's no shade to the genre. It's just not something I was exposed to as much. I was exposed to more, uh, you know, ethnic music, I guess you could say.
Oh,
So
yeah. If you look at the artwork right here, it's like, yeah, you definitely can tell. It's not your demographic.
right.
I'm sure.
So yeah. But again, like I do like rock. I'm not gonna lie to you. Rock has like a depending on not hard rock. I can't that to me is a bit extreme. But I'm open to different types of music, and this one would be something I would put on my
It's a
playlist.
great album. I will say, you can literally start it from. You can literally go from track one,
Mhm.
not hit skip, and let the story tell itself.
Okay.
And I've God, if I can recall whatever iTunes was out then, if I could show you the play count of how I let that song go from track one to track 11, no skips, because they seamlessly crossfade into each other
Mhm.
without adding the crossfade from iTunes back then.
Mhm.
It just naturally crossfaded because they took this particular album. I speak to this because I have both their albums. I didn't do the third album. I kind of grew out of this type of genre, but these two albums, specifically this one to start with, you can literally hit play, go on a road trip, and it will entertain you all the way
Mhm.
through.
Okay.
Do not let this particular song sway you in the terms of, oh God, it's emo rock or it's gonna be so down. No, there's some very bright and poppy songs in there
Oh, I bet.
in terms of like it's feel good.
Mhm.
There's no downtrodden message or extreme melancholy feelings with it, like
Mhm.
with this type of tempo. I mean, this was probably like at BPM, like maybe 84, 85, where it's very kind of melodramatic, very big and sombering, especially with it being 6 minutes long. Most tracks are not even doing that anymore in current
Well, yeah, they're
current day.
like 2.5 minutes.
Yeah, if that, I mean, what Jack Harlow has a song that literally is just the same the two, the same two bridges, and then it just starts over. So it's like, hey, we're
Yeah.
in that time period, and I'm glad
Mhm.
I got to experience something like this, and I'm actually able to share it. And thank you for the platform, by the way,
Mhm.
because otherwise I would not share tracks that I've come across in my adventures across planet Earth. Yeah, and
Well, you're
again, I
welcome.
yield my time.
All right. So, um, what would you rate this? Because we didn't actually rate the previous three songs. What would you rate this on a scale of like one? Oh, on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you rate the song?
Ooh, 10. Okay.
Mhm.
Individually, like
Or actually,
no out.
stars, 1 to 5 stars. Would
That's a
that
little
be
more.
easier?
That's a little more digestible.
Okay, so on a scale of 1 to 5 stars, what would you rate this?
Purely on the single, not the album,
Everything, the body. Well, no, the single,
because we
but
only heard the
we're
singles.
including the lyrics, the context of the lyrics. We're including the
Right.
artwork for it, like
Right.
everything. It's this as a single, the embodiment of the single. What would you rate it?
Okay. So just to be clear, the rules are judging from the single.
Mhm.
I would say the first song, the first episode,
Mhm.
I would give it a 4.
Out of 5 stars.
Yes.
Okay.
The second one, I would give it a 4.2.
Out of five.
Yes,
Okay.
because it's very bright in terms of it's still delivering that message of, hey, I found myself. I'm okay. I got boundaries.
Mhm.
I think I forgot to mention that in the last episode,
Mhm.
and then now we're on here for this one. I would also say 4.2 because it's hard to give something a perfect 5. That means
That's
it's
true.
perfect. Um, and right now the scores are relatively high because this is only what the third episode.
Third.
Um, yeah, I only say that 4.2 on basis on the song alone. If I was to walk into an Amoeba music shop and they said, "Hey, here's this single. It's called Mutemath. Break the same. Have a go." I would be like, "Okay, thank you for showing me that. That was an adventure, a whole rise and fall."
Mhm.
4.2.
4.2.
Same
Okay.
thing with the prior two single tracks. Hey, 4.2, and then
A 4.0.
4.0.
Okay, out of
Yeah.
5 stars.
Yes.
All right. I would
What say
rate
you?
the first one. I would rate it a 3.8, just because it's not the type of music that I listen to on the regular, so it is an adjustment. Um, the second song, I would rate that a 4.5 because again, that song gets me in a mood to either work out or it lifts my spirits up in general.
Energy.
Yeah. And this one, I would rate this, including the musical composition and everything, I'd rate this a 4, like a solid 4. Again, this is outside of my normal wheelhouse of genres, but it is a good song. So I would rate this a 4 out of 5 stars. So overall, all the songs are very good. And I'm glad that you exposed me to something like this because I would have never come across this at all, like ever.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I've surveyed, and as time goes on, as we do this, and as long as I can call a cab to get out of here, it's I have multiple genres that I understand people who are not looking outside of the ethnic realm, if you will.
Of what they're in, what
Yeah,
ethnicity they're in.
and you're not really used to maybe different BPMs, because this is what it comes down to. The BPMs can dictate the genre.
Mhm.
Um, and then you have your compositional arrangements, instrumentations, and vocalizations and all that.
Right.
So if you're not used to that and you're used to 808s all the time, and that's what you're programmed to think, or if you're used to 4 on the floor all the time, you're not really gonna be able to meld as easily to new genres that are outside of those places. It's just what it is. You
Mhm.
humans love to be comfortable,
Right.
and if you're comfortable with a certain BPM or a certain narrative, a certain thing, then it's harder to find yourself to break out. No pun intended. Break out of the same that you're already in. So that's another reason why I picked this. Is like I understand this is your podcast. I like to like I know you're gonna have more of a Afrobeats, hip hop, R&B kind of draw, and I'm hoping maybe to give you the other genres that you may have one overlooked, not because you wanted to, but
Mhm.
because it just wasn't like you said, it was presented to you. It's
Mhm.
like I didn't even have a chance to even ingest this and just absorb it as for what it is,
Mhm.
and then your flip to me is like, oh, okay, well, most of the music that I come across, I like instrumentals, cinematic scores. There's not a lot of people talking. The instruments do the talking, so to speak.
Right.
So
Which I'm
that's
not. I will say I'm not unfamiliar with that because I was in music growing up, so all the music that we played
oh
didn't
really?
have
What'd you play?
the violin and the piano. So I
Oh,
was
strings,
exposed to a lot
strings.
of classical music. So
Yeah.
I do have a background in classical music,
Hmm.
and pop music too.
Okay.
I used to, love the Backstreet Boys and NSYNC and Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera growing up. So
And
it's,
they shoved that down the throat, didn't they?
I mean, they kind of had to back
Mm-hmm.
then.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily that I'm not well, yeah, I'm not exposed to it, but I also did make a conscientious decision when I was, I believe, like in high school, to listen to more music that is geared towards people who look like me as opposed to what was pop or cookie cutter. So, in instances like this where like this would have been outside of that, that's why I wasn't exposed to it. And so, things like this got overlooked, but I did have a emo punk phase. I did listen to My Chemical Romance and, some
A
of those
little bit of
artists.
Paramore.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. Yeah. A little bit of Paramore.
Panic at the Disco.
Yeah. And also, what was the Linkin Park and all that? I used to listen to them.
Yeah. Okay.
So
All
I'm
right.
not
All right.
unfamiliar with them. It's just since then I have not listened to anything in that genre since, and it's been a while. So
Very well. Very well.
yeah.
Well, that's going to be it for me. What about you?
Yep,
Yeah.
that'll be all for today's episode. So, again, thank you all for tuning in and listening, and we will catch you on the next one.
Yep. See ya.
Bye.